Well, you know, when I was a boy, I was kicked around a lot, and I was held down. And then I became a man, and I found myself kicking down people and holding them down too. Well, now I want to help people up, and that's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. As long as human beings have had a oral history, they've had champions and heroes and warriors, and I don't think I'm anybody special. I just, like many youngsters and young men for thousands and thousands of years, plugs into them.
The earth is shaking under siege. And every breath we meet is fate. Still we hunger for my freedom.
Because that's what you need to do to get through a hard life. And for a lot of people, life is hard. So you plug into some kind of eternal optimism and this undefeatable champion energy, and that's what I did.
Have no fear when waters rise. We can conquer this.
I didn't have the most stable of starts. Things were challenging for both my parents, and eventually myself and my little brothers had to make it on our own. But at least my little brothers had me, and I had them. Things were really tough with my mom. It had been a few years of a lot of depression and drugs because my mother was so depressed. She just checked out completely and left us to our own. We went to like 20 different schools. We were moved around so much. I felt like I was just a little leaf or a little piece of plastic in the street, and the wind was just pushing it around for a while. Hurting real bad. Money ran out. There was no real welfare system down in South Texas, and we didn't even know how to ask for anything anyway, and so she gave us up, and that's how we ended up in Omaha Home for Boys. The Omaha Home for Boys really did save my life. They gave me food, they gave me shelter, they gave me medical attention, and they gave me a wrestling mat, and they gave me weights. And so I got to really hammer myself on this anvil of discipline, on this anvil of goal and teamwork. I was a wrestler first. I was a champion in 8th grade in Nebraska, which is not easy to do. I didn't even know I was being that great, but by 18, by happenstance, or actually by karma at the YMCA, they were teaching Kung Fu there. The next class I was there, and then the following class, and then the next month, and the next year, and then 5 years later, and then I'm training with China's national team. My teacher's Chin Man Sit. I train with the best in the world. I start fighting the best in the world. It's very interesting though. Even as I was getting notoriety and in some Kung Fu magazines and becoming a world champion in martial art, as I felt myself becoming more independent in that way and really standing in my own space, I then reverted back to where I could serve. I knew a recon Marine who was an amazing fighter and martial artist, and his character impressed me so much, and his willingness in the eye to close with anything I was just overwhelmed with. And so I had to ask myself if I had what it takes, and the only way I was going to really find out is if I did it. So that's what I did. What's boot camp like? Watch Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. That's exactly what it's like. That is exactly what it is like. It is a pressure cooker. You are in a vacuum. You do not have any interaction with the outside world. Absolutely none. I did 3 tours, and the first one was pretty easy. We killed the enemy at a distance with close air support, watching the Taliban and calling in close air support on them. In the second fight I was in Iraq in 2003. We led the invasion, but my last tour was very, very bloody, very violent, with the peak of violence with insurgents and foreign fighters. Very, very bloody. We lost some of our guys. I lost some of my brothers. I killed a lot of people, sometimes innocent people, you know. Of course, I went through an amazing amount of disillusionment and self-destruction. You can imagine what a toll it took on me because that's not who I am. But it is what sometimes the mission dictated. And war is such a hard, ugly business. I always thought we were going to be there to help people. I thought these enemies of ours did something really horrible to us, and that their extremism needed to be stopped. And when I found that we were just not doing anything for the people, that really we were doing things to secure our energy business and secure our economics, I lost so much respect all the way around. And also, of course, I lost respect for myself. Given all those good years, and I'd suffered all those things and seen my friends in pieces, and you know, oh, you can't imagine what I've seen. And I was backing the bully. I was on the bully's team. That's hard to live with. I started becoming a shock trooper, and I had to return to my roots. And that's eventually what brought me here. It's me returning to those roots, the humanist warrior, you know, scholar warrior.
Deep reach and squeeze.
Hero living is not about me being the guru and teaching all y'all how to be, you know, Bruce Lee and Tarzan like me. Quite frankly, I am right in the middle of the process with y'all, and I'm approaching it like we're discovering it together.
Somebody's really motivated me a lot, and that would be Rudy.
Let's work a little heart rate. Let's work a little heart rate now.
To stay eating clean and working out harder than I've ever worked out in my life.
Just seeing him and seeing how dedicated he is, it makes you want to be just as dedicated. He pushes you to your limit, he pushes you beyond your limit to make sure that you're reaching your full potential.
Just the crazy intensity. Like, I had never seen anybody work out like that before. And you end up kind of mimicking that intensity to your own degree.
I can help anybody find that hero inside. They don't have to be a recon marine or a fighter, a mixed martial artist, or a mountain climber. Anybody.
It wasn't just my body doing the work, but it was my mind, and it was also just my spirit, because it has to change everywhere.
When he tells you all the things that he's been through or that he's accomplished, it makes you think that you can accomplish that too, you know? I mean, he's done a lot with his life. It's like he makes you think that you can dream too, if you can accomplish more than you think you can.
He has an uncanny ability to touch people and motivate them, and he's totally like lived by example. He has an aura about him. There's something about Rudy.
And of course, it's a journey, and it's hard training, and it's blood, sweat, and tears, and it's laughter and humor, and it starts growing and creating a life of its own. And these people end up becoming leaders too, and they end up pushing me too, and I learn about myself.